Here we are on the front of our 175 BH Kodiak by Dutchman. We're going to go over the features on this unit. Once again, we're going over the general operation of this unit. For more specific information on particular products that may be on your camper, you can search in our helpful hacks section. So we'll start in the front. We have our 7-way plug right here in the front for our lights and our charge line for our battery, as well as our breakaway for our brakes, that safety feature right there. We have a single propane tank right here with a single propane regulator, and our box where our battery will be mounted. Let's move down the side. On the driver's side of your unit, you do have access to your pass-through bay right here. You also find below, around the 4 corners of the unit, you have manual stab jacks. These are stabilizer jacks, only not to be used for leveling your unit. You can level your unit by putting leveling blocks under your tires, leveling that unit left to right, and then you'll use your tongue jack to level it from front to back. These are simply to put down to help stabilize movement inside of your unit. On the rear of our unit, we have our tankless on-demand Furrion water heater. We'll go over the features and options on that when we get to the control panel on the inside. Here to the right, we have our freshwater connection. This is to fill our freshwater tank. We simply take a water hose, put it in here, and we can fill it up. We'll use the monitor panel on the inside to know when that level is full, and then we can use our 12-volt pump to pull the water out of there and supply water to our fixtures if we don't have a water hose connection at the campground. There is a drain valve right on the other side of the frame. It is a white line coming out of the bottom of the unit. You open that valve up and that will drain your fresh tank. Down below, this is a spray port. This is a quick connect spray port. We can go ahead and buy one of those coil hoses with the quick connection on there, put it in there, and we can use it as a regular water hose. Behind it, we have our city water connection. This is simply a hose connection. We'll hook up to a faucet bib, either at the campground or at our house. We turn that faucet on for that water hose, and this will supply water to the rest of our unit. Above it, we have our connections for cable and satellite. So if we have a cable system at the campground, we'll hook that coax up to the one on the left. If we have a satellite system, we'll hook it up to the one on the right. We'll go over a little bit more information on how that works on the inside, but that's where those 2 connections will hook up. Over to the right, this water fixture right here is for our black tank flush. Our black tank flush is used to clean out our black tank. Any sewage, debris, or anything that's in that black tank, we want to flush it out and get those meters reading right. So we'll go over the operation of that now as we move down to our valves. We'll touch on the gray water first. Gray water is going to be our small pipe right here, identified with this gray handle. This is our sink water or our shower water that goes into that tank. If we have our hose hooked up and going into the sewage drain at the campground, we can leave this water valve open all the time for our gray tank. Let our shower water, our sink water flow freely. We won't have to come out here and open that valve constantly every time that tank fills up. If you don't have sewage connection at your camping site, you will have to leave it closed and get to a dump station whenever you're ready to dump it. Our black tank is our bigger tank right here, identified with this black handle. Black tank is where our sewage goes from our toilet paper, all of our sewage, so on. We want to leave this valve closed all the time. The reason being is if you leave it open and you drain all the water out of here, any debris may be left in that tank will eventually dry up and it'll cause you drainage problems later on. So we don't want that. We want to leave that valve closed, let everything get in there. Once you're done with your camping trip, you have that hose connection hooked up. Now you're going to open that valve up and you're going to drain all of your sewage out, and then you're going to hook your water hose up to this black tank flush and flush that system out. When you are done flushing it out and all your meters are clear, we can check on that tank sensor on the inside. We'll go over in a little bit. Once everything's good, you want to go ahead and close that valve back up while you still either have your black tank flush connection or you can go to the toilet to do this. But you want to leave a couple of gallons of water in that tank. That way any residual that's left in there doesn't get dried up and stuck to the walls of the unit. Always leave a couple of gallons of water and some chemical in that black tank so you can ensure you don't cause any damage to it. Behind me, we have our 30 amp connection right here. This is for our power going into our unit. It's a simple twist lock connection. We turn, twist, and we can pull it out. Same thing, we line up the plug, insert it, turn and lock it, and put that little retainer ring on there as well. You want to make sure that you don't have the other end plugged in And you also want to make sure that you don't have any appliances running whenever you plug this system in, because this can cause damage to your appliances. So make sure everything's off before you plug this system in. And behind me here, we can also see we have another manual stabilizer jack. On the rear of our unit, we do have our back bumper right here. It has caps we can pull off. We can store our sewage hose in there if we like. We also have our spare tire. And we have our Lippard on-the-go ladder system. You can buy that Lippard telescopic ladder to add on the back of here to be able to gain access to your roof. Roof is very important to gain access to. Every 60 to 90 days, you need to get up there and check the sealant. We also need to check the sealant around all of our trims, floor molding, and everything else every 60 to 90 days to make sure we're maintaining our unit. Any water leaks that can occur from lack of maintenance on there will be customer responsibility, so make sure that you watch that video on silicone and sealant maintenance on your unit so you'll know how to take care of it. Here on the other side of our unit, we have our solar plug right here. This solar plug can add an additional solar panel off to the side. If we are parked under a tree or anything, that solar system can't get any connection, then we can go ahead and add that existing panel off to the side so we have sunlight to it. Now your unit is prepped for that solar package, so you would have to add those features on there if you like. Speaking of that prep, you have that inverter prep right here, and we have our solar control panel prep right here as well. All that wiring is already ran in the event that you want to upgrade to that solar system. Once again, down below me, we have another manual stabilizer jack, which I said we'll have one in the 4 corners. We'll have another one in the rear. Our entry door is friction controlled, so we're not going to see a latch or anything to hold it on the back. So we'll see some resistance on that door. Our entry step is a single fold entry step. Lift it up, slide it in, pull it back out. Make sure we lubricate those hinges pretty regularly so they don't rust and cause any issues. Our screen door right here can be operated by opening that latch, close it, latch it in. We can use this screen cover right here to keep any bugs out if we wish. We can take our door, close it, and when we open it, that screen door will come with it. Moving down the side of our unit, we have our range hood vent right here. This hood vent, whenever we operate our range vent on the interior, this hood vent is where it will exhaust out. We'll notice a couple little plunger tabs on here that can help keep that closed. Whenever we're not operating our range hood or we're storing our unit, we want to make sure that that's closed, keeps insects and nests from building in there. To open it, just slip your finger under there and you can pop it open whenever you want to use that vent. Down below we have our outdoor GFCI for our outdoor TV and our cable connection right here for that outdoor TV. Our GFCI is protected by an outlet on the inside. Every outlet near a water connection in the kitchen or bathroom is going to be GFCI protected. We're going to go over that main outlet on the inside whenever we get to it. Next, we'll talk about our 12-volt awning. Extendable by a push of a button, retractable the same way. Awnings are a nice feature. Anytime we ever leave our unit, we want to make sure we roll it in though. Okay, we never know what's going to come, whether it be a gust of wind or a storm. We want to go ahead and roll it in. That way we don't have to worry about, have any concerns about it flying off due to bad weather. That would be an insurance claim, not a warranty claim. And another thing we need to do is we need to pitch our awning from one side to the other. It could be the rear, it could be the front, whatever you wish. But you have these knobs on the arms here. Simply pull down on your awning and tighten that knob. What that does is that angles our awning and allows any AC runoff, light dew to run off of that awning. Anytime it rains, roll that awning in just to be safe. But you have to pitch your awning for any runoff so water doesn't accumulate on your awning and collapse. Once again, that would be an insurance claim, not a warranty claim, so make sure you take care of it properly. A couple more things to talk about out here is this is our furnace exhaust right here. Nothing you need to worry about out here, just know that whenever that furnace is running, it will be hot right in that area, so be cautious of that. We have our LP quick connect right here. This is a quick connection if you want to add a gas stove or anything out here. It'll pull from your propane tank. You also notice a red and blue line right here. This red and blue line is your low point drains. If you ever want to empty all the water out of your fixture lines on your unit, you'll open these up and it'll drain the water out of the system. This is usually done in preparation for winterization when those cold months come around. And once again, in this corner, you'll find another stabilizer jack to help stabilize your unit. As we walk into our unit, we'll notice we have our Furrion water heater system right here. It's our tankless water heater system. We hit that on button, our display will light up. Lets us know that our unit is on right here under that power light. We also have our Fahrenheit, our Celsius, and this flame indicator right here. If we want to change from Fahrenheit to Celsius, that button right there, and it will change our temperature readings. Right here we have our flame button. Whenever we turn our hot water on, that flame light will come on, indicating that the flame is on and our water is heating. If we want to adjust the temperature on our water heater, we can use these arrows indicating the temperature right there. Want to turn that system off? Just hit that button one more time and the system shuts off. Here we have our battery meter in our control center. We can see where our battery, our fresh tank, black, and gray tank are as far as levels. When we're filling or emptying, this is where we want to go to watch that indicator and make sure that we have it either flushed out or the proper level that we wish. This is our water pump button right here. 12-volt water pump. Once again, this is pulling from our fresh tank. Anytime we don't have a water hose connection, we'll kick that water pump on to supply water to our unit. This is our awning switch right here, retract and extend, and we also have our exterior awning light right there as well. All of our lights on our unit will be controlled by a push button on the light itself. We can turn them all off and on that way. They are all 12-volt controlled, so if we have any issues, we want to go to our 12-volt panel or make sure that we have good 12-volt battery power and that our converter is operating properly. Next in our unit, we have our AC system right here. This AC system can be controlled from our ceiling assembly. Simply turn it on to cool, and we can adjust our thermostat right here with the other handle. If we want just the fan to operate and not the system to cool, we can go ahead and turn it to fan. This is the dump valve right here. If we want to shut off the airflow into our unit, we go ahead and close it off. Generally, you're going to want to keep it on because this isn't a ducted unit, so airflow is not going to come from anywhere else. Behind me is our Suburban furnace thermostat right here. We want to activate that furnace. We'll go ahead and slide it over to that warmer position. That furnace is going to kick on and activate, and the air is going to come out of the vents down below. It's not going to come from our rooftop air. Now, one thing about this system, it is a gas operated system, so make sure that we have our propane on when we go to activate that. Over here we have our antenna system. This is for our wine guard antenna, and we would go ahead and hook our coax from here to our TV. It does have an antenna booster, so in order to scan for channels, if we're using an antenna, we want to click that button, turn the green light on, and then scan for channels. This provides 12 volts to that antenna, so it can help catch more channels in that area. Now, if we're hooked up to part cable, which is a coax in the back, we want to make sure that light is off when we scan for channels. Otherwise, that 12-volt boost will scramble the channels from the campground. To the right of it, you do have another button. That other button is for your WineGuard LTE system. This is pre-wired. You can purchase a router to add to that system in order to provide Wi-Fi from a Verizon or AT&T network. We do have another 110 outlet right here, and we have our satellite hookup. So remember, we talked about our satellite separate connection outside. That would come in from the satellite. We would hook this coax up to a receiver, and then from that receiver to our TV in order to operate our satellite system. Our dinette booth here can go down into a bed. Simply fold the legs on our table and lay it down, and we can add our cushions for more sleeping area. Our kitchen has our Furrion microwave as well as our hood range right here. We do have a screen on here that can be pulled down with the 2 tabs. We can clean that up whenever needed, and it can operate with our little push buttons up here. Once again, 12-volt operated. If there's any issues, go to that 12-volt fuse panel. We have our gas stove top. Our gas stove top is one of the first things you want to go to whenever we get into our unit. We pull it out of storage. Go to your gas stove top and light it. We want to get all the air out of our system before we operate any of our other gas appliances. This is the quickest way to do it. You want to go until you have a nice clean blue flame up here and get all the air out of that line. And we can also do this anytime we change out our propane tanks, because there will be air in the line after that. This will make it all of our other features like our gas water heater and our furnace operate quicker without any faults if we get the air out of the lines. We also have another button over here on the side that will turn on the lights for ambience. Down below we do have our COLP detector mounted down here. We need to check that monthly and make sure that it operates properly. We also have our converter slash breaker system slash 12-volt control panel. That converter system is what changes our 110 to 12 volts to charge that battery and supply power for all of our lights. This will not operate unless we're plugged into our service at the back of the camper, our 30 or 50 amp service. And we also have our 110 breakers, kind of like in your house. If these breakers are ever tripped, of course you're not going to have 110 power anywhere. So if your microwave, AC, something like that doesn't work, we want to go here first and make sure all these breakers are on, and then check the power at our pole as well. Over here are the 12-volt fuses that I've mentioned. Things like our range hood or our lights or our awning are not working. This is where we want to go in order to check that and make sure that that blade fuse hasn't blown and that we don't have an issue with our 12-volt system. Below our refrigerator down here at the bottom is our actual furnace. Whenever you activate that furnace, this is where you'll hear it running and provide heat for the unit. You are equipped with a 12-volt refrigerator. Generally, it's going to be Furrion. It can be controlled with a little switch up here, this dial that can go from cold to colder, and then also that off option if you want to shut it off. Very important, no matter the brand of refrigerator and freezer. Whenever you are done camping, you need to defrost and clean out this entire unit, freezer and fridge box, because if it defrosts and you have water in this system, then guess what? It's gonna leak out of this gasket out of the bottom that's airtight, not watertight, and it's gonna damage the wood around your refrigerator, and that's gonna be customer maintenance and not a warranty claim. They won't do any repairs if the customer didn't defrost it and clean it out properly. So make sure anytime you turn these units off, you get all the water out of them before it causes any damage. And you're also gonna prevent mold and mildew from accruing inside your refrigerator and freezer as well. Here we are in the bathroom. We have our toilet. It can be operated by the foot pedal down at the bottom, and it will flush the system. Anytime we want to do number 2, barely hold that pedal down just a little bit, and you want to fill that bowl up with more water than the bottom level. If we're doing number 1, we can just flush it and let it go. All right, so keep that in mind and always only use RV toilet paper. A lot more information on the toilets in one of our other videos. Not gonna go too deep into that. We also wanna make sure that we use chemicals in our system as well. One thing you may not know, on our shower head, we have this on-off button right here. This on-off button is simply just that. It shuts off that shower head. We won't lose our hot-cold feature. We won't have to worry about that water mixture, so on and so forth. We can just shut it off. Whenever you turn it on, you will have a quick burst of cold water, but it will go back to whatever temperature it was before coming out of your faucet. When do we use this? Well, we use this when we're dry camping. If we're trying to conserve water that we're putting into our tank, we want to shut that off right here, and it just keeps us from having to turn the faucets off and on and then find that warm spot somewhere with that water mixture as well. So shut that off. You'll get yourself wet, shut it off, go ahead and soap up, and then turn it back on to rinse off, and then you can bathe as normal while still conserving water and conserve the amount of water that you're putting into your gray tank system as well. You do have a shower exhaust right here above us. This is a 12-volt fan on that vent. That's to go ahead and exhaust the steam and everything out of this bathroom. I highly suggest you use that so you don't build up any mold or mildew or have any humidity issues inside your unit. In our bedroom, right next to our bed, we can see we have that GFCI protected outlet. In the event one of our GFCI protected outlets don't work, we want to go to this. This black button right here is going to be our reset. This is where we'll go to push, and that will reset all of our GFCI outlets. Below it is a test button. We can test those outlets by hitting that button, and that will go ahead and trip all of those outlets and should stop sending power to them, indicated by that red light. So if you ever see that red light on and those outlets out there aren't working, simply hit that reset button. Red light should go off, and it should begin to provide power back to those outlets.
Well, we hope you found that resourceful, but wait, there's more information on our Great American RV YouTube channel. This channel right here, find the playlist Hap's Helpful Hacks. We go over different products in this unit, and we'll take a deeper dive with more diagnostics, more information, as well as helpful tips when you're out camping. Tell your buddies, tell your friends, like, share, subscribe, do all those awesome things on YouTube, TikTok, wherever you found us. And keep watching here at Great American RV Superstores, where we bring the how-to you.